Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So this video is an extension of a video that I just did where I quoted something that Mayweather said recently while he was training, which was, quote, "Yeah, Muhammad Ali was good, but he lost to a guy with 7 fights, which was Leon Spinks," end quote. Now in that video, I drew the comparison. I gave you guys a lot of contrast, and I gave you guys some similarities between the two, Mayweather and Muhammad Ali. Now, I notice when I read some of the comments, there's a few of you guys who are basically saying, I disagree with you, Dante, on comparing Floyd Mayweather to Muhammad Ali. Now, it's funny because I'm thinking when someone says I disagree with you, they're going to give me boxing facts. But what I notice is a lot of you guys, at least 99% of the people that say, I disagree with your comparison, you're not even talking about boxing, right? And don't get me wrong, I appreciate all the comments, but you guys have to understand something. We are all here in a boxing forum. You come to this channel to hear about boxing because you love boxing, right? I assume all of us are huge boxing fans, right? So when you say I disagree with you when it comes to Ali versus Floyd Mayweather because Ali was a quote unquote a nicer guy, he did more for the community and etc., that has absolutely nothing to do with boxing. Right? It has absolutely nothing to do with boxing. Now, and I said in my first video that Floyd Mayweather has a lot in common with Muhammad Ali because, for one, it was Muhammad Ali who called himself the greatest, right? This is not a moniker that was given to him by the boxing world. This is what Muhammad Ali started calling himself, right? We know that Floyd Mayweather started calling himself TBE, the best ever. Okay? Now, on top of all of that, when Muhammad Ali was in his prime and was considered probably pound for pound the best fighter in the world, you had a man by the name of Cus D'Amato, the trainer of Mike Tyson and the late Floyd Patterson. Cus D'Amato was telling Muhammad Ali that Joe Louis would knock him out, and and Muhammad Ali, he fought nothing but bums. This is what Cus D'Amato was telling Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is like, what? I fought bums? Joe Louis had a bum of the month club, right? But yet Cus D'Amato is discrediting every single thing that Muhammad Ali has done. And today, you have a lot of these internet fans saying the same things about Mayweather now. Now they're saying Mayweather can't be compared to Muhammad Ali. Follow me. Before, people were saying that you could not compare Ali to Joe Louis. Go back and watch the documentaries. You'll see they have regular people in the crowd after a Muhammad Ali fight or before the fight, I don't know. And you see people saying, you call that fighting? He doesn't even fight. All he does is run. That's all he does. He doesn't even fight. This is what fans were saying about Muhammad Ali back then. Does that sound familiar? This is exactly what you hear decafs saying about Floyd Mayweather today. Now, this is where the similarities end. If you notice, when Cus D'Amato was saying that Muhammad Ali could never compare himself to the great Joe Louis, if you notice, Cus D'Amato, like myself right now, he was only talking about boxing. Cus D'Amato didn't say you couldn't compare to Joe Louis because Joe Louis, he served his country and went to the military and he was an outstanding citizen, etc., etc. Cus D'Amato said nothing about Joe Louis' personal life versus Muhammad Ali's personal life. Everything that Cus D'Amato and Muhammad Ali were talking about was boxing. But I noticed when people compare Mayweather to Ali, 95% of the people that compare them and side with Muhammad Ali, they always make it a personal thing, right? You guys have to understand this, man. You cannot tie in your emotions with talking boxing. You just can't do it. You have to separate the two, and that's very difficult for a lot of these emotionally attached fans to do, right? Like I said, everyone I see people posting these messages. Oh no, Muhammad Ali, he did this and he did that outside of the ring. We're not talking outside of the ring, has nothing to do with boxing. Let me tell you this right now. And I can tell you this as a fact because we've seen the proof. Sergey Kovalev is an Eastern European racist. That's what he is. There's no speculation. There's no, I think. The man is a flat out racist. And if you don't believe me, Google his name and you will see what will pop up. That's as far as I'm going to go. But the point that I'm making is, with that being said, if you ask me how good Sergey Kovalev is, I'll tell you he's damn good. In fact, I would pick him to beat Adonis Stevens. I believe he's the best light heavyweight in the world right now, and I'm very impressed with his skill set, right? Because you know what? Him being a racist, even if he personally doesn't like blacks or Latinos or Asians, it has nothing to do with boxing. Same thing applies for Floyd Mayweather. We are talking about boxing, right? You can't sit over here and say, oh, Ali is the greatest because he went to church 5 days a week and Floyd only went to church twice. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Once again, this is not a beauty pageant. You don't score points on talking about how you would heal the world and what your thoughts are on war and et cetera, et cetera. This is a blood sport, okay? So when your only defense to why you believe Ali is superior to Floyd Mayweather is because he donated money to certain organizations, it has nothing to do with boxing. You could once again sit over here and now if you want to make a list, if you want to make a personal list of who you like the most and who you don't like the most, then yeah, you could go ahead and say, yeah, I like Muhammad Ali the most. I personally like him the most. But if we are talking about boxing, that is a totally different conversation. Okay? I mean, if you have an employee at your job who has never been late, who has never even called in sick, and he does his job very well. He doesn't only get employee of the month, he gets employee of the year every year, right? You can't say he's less deserving of that award because maybe he cheated on his wife, or maybe when he went to church, he didn't put any money in the collection plate and he just passed it on. It doesn't work that way. You get employee of the month because of what you do at work, right? Not because of what you do outside of work, right? It doesn't work that way. That's basically like you guys trying to say the guy who has been late 10 times this year, the guy who calls in sick every other week, that guy, even though he's not the best employee, guess what? Outside of work, he does go to church every day. He does put money in the collection plate. He's never cheated on his wife before. So you know what? You can't compare these employees. That guy right there is the one who really deserves to be employee of the year, right? It doesn't work that way. We are judging you based on your job that you do, not outside of what you do. Once again, this is a boxing channel, a boxing forum. This is the only reason we are all right here right now is to listen to some boxing, talk boxing. right? Oscar De La Hoya has been forced to deal with a lot of demons in his life. Does that change how good of a boxer he was? Does that change the titles he won? The gold medal that he won? It has nothing to do with it, right? Sugar Ray Robinson. If you guys read books on him or watch documentaries on Sugar Ray Robinson, you'll find out he was nowhere near perfect outside of the ring. And I'll just leave it at that. Okay? But we still call him the greatest pound for pound fighter of all time. At least the majority of us do. Right? So once again, the point that I'm making is your personal life has absolutely nothing to do with the sport that we love. I don't care if it's Oscar De La Hoya's life, Sergey Kovalev's life, or Floyd Mayweather's life. It has nothing to do with boxing. And you know, you could just really tell that not everyone, but a lot of people that will say Muhammad Ali was the greatest and Floyd is a bum, basically, you know, saying the same thing that Customato said about Muhammad Ali. A lot of the people on the internet that are saying, you know, these things, they don't even really know a whole lot about Muhammad Ali. All they know is the little sound clips, the little sound bites that they've heard of, you know, Muhammad Ali rhyming and Muhammad Ali just being this charismatic type of individual. But they don't know the whole story. Like I said before, they don't know that when Muhammad Ali fought against Joe Frazier, he was the most hated in America. And all of America was pulling for Joe Frazier to beat the draft dodger black Muslim because that's how he was perceived. You know, in one of the Muhammad Ali documentaries that he did, I don't remember which one it was, but it was one scene where he was drawing a whole bunch of like face expressions on a piece of paper, you know, like happy, mad, crying, sad, etc., right? It went in that pattern. And then he looked at the guy who was interviewing him and he said, "You know what this is?" And the guy was like, "What?" "This is the crowd watching me fight. The majority of them are coming to watch me lose." Now remember, this is Muhammad Ali talking. This is not Floyd Mayweather talking. Let's look at once again all the similarities. Muhammad Ali, he's known for talking a lot of shit in the ring, just always talking, right? He is nicknamed the Louisville Lip because he talks so much. As you just heard, Muhammad Ali, he said, the majority of fans are coming to watch me lose. He also said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. What does that mean? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That means use foot movement, move around the ring, basically hit and not be hit. That was his style, right? Muhammad Ali, he calls himself the greatest. Look at all the similarities. Once again, similarities inside the ring. And once again, I'm going to say it again. What did Customato say about Muhammad Ali? You fought nothing but bums. So listen to all that I just said. Are you going to honestly tell me that didn't sound like we were talking about Floyd Mayweather? Once again, guys, this is not about you liking Floyd Mayweather. This is about boxing. That's all this is about. You ain't gotta like Floyd Mayweather. It's not about like. This is about boxing. You could be whatever type of angel or asshole outside of the ring, but it has nothing to do with boxing. Like I alluded to earlier, I'm looking in the comment section. I see some of you guys saying, well, I believe Muhammad Ali is the greatest because he did more for his people. Well, shit, if that's the case, then we could say Andre Berto is one of the greatest of all time. Why? Because Andre Berto did a lot for his people. You see how things get so misconstrued when you start talking about things that's completely irrelevant to the sport that we love? Let me go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about Berto if you don't already know. Berto is from Haiti, okay? And when Berto was scheduled to fight Shane Mosley, Berto had to pull out of that fight, or I should say, Berto elected to personally pull out of that fight. Why? Because he felt that he needed to be in his home country, Haiti, to help as much as he can. Help as much as he could, excuse me. You see what I'm saying, guys? That's how good of a person he is outside of the ring. But this conversation is not about what you do outside of the ring. It's about what you do inside of the ring. Okay? Edwin Valero, great fighter. Every time I bring up Edwin Valero's name, the first thing people say is, oh man, that dude was good. Man, I think he would have beat Pacquiao. You know, this and this, and he was so good, and man, he was so strong, etc., right? Praise after praise after praise. No one even mentions the horrific things that this man did outside of the ring. And I'm not condoning what he did outside of the ring, but what I'm telling you guys is if we're talking boxing, it doesn't matter what he did outside of the ring. There are a lot of fighters today that a lot of fans love that are complete jerks and assholes outside of the ring. All right? Now, they try to make it seem like it's just Floyd Mayweather, but I'm not going to drop any names because I don't want to put anyone out there like that. But trust me, I know a lot about these fighters' personal lives. Okay? Some of the biggest names you guys can think of. And I know what type of people they are when it comes to their personal life. But we're not here to talk about what they do out of the ring. We're here to talk about what they do inside of the ring. I have an interesting story. I was at the grocery store the other day, and as I'm in line, I hear some lady behind me, Dante's Boxing Nation, right? I turn around and it's a girl says, "Hey, I watch your channel all the time. Me and my kids, we watch it, etc., etc." So I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. So coincidentally, this lady's name was Ronda, right? So, and she was like, yeah, my name is Ronda, like Ronda Rousey. And it's funny because we started talking about the controversy of ESPN giving Ronda Rousey Fighter of the Year over Floyd Mayweather. Now, coincidentally, this girl not only had the name Ronda, but she kind of looked like Ronda Rousey, right? You could pretty much draw your own conclusion on what that means. So anyway, she starts saying, well, I thought Ronda Rousey, she deserved, Fighter of the Year. She's badass and et cetera, et cetera. And I said to her, I said, but the whole thing is Floyd Mayweather beat the fighter of the decade, right? Ronda Rousey didn't beat the fighter of the decade. Ronda Rousey, she didn't even beat a pound for pound top 10 fighter who was recognized around the globe as one of the best, right? Floyd Mayweather did, and I started explaining to her how this is the reason why a lot of people they really aren't taking this ESPN award even serious because it looks so personal, it looks so deliberate. I mean, when you have a staff that is already biased against Floyd Mayweather, people like Dan Raphael and many other employees of ESPN that personally express their disdain for Floyd Mayweather all the time. And these are really the people that decide who's going to be awarded the Fighter of the Year. That within itself is a conflict of interest. So I'm explaining all this to her and I'm breaking down once again why Floyd, deserved the award over Ronda Rousey. And it's funny because then she starts talking about personal stuff. Once she realizes I'm making a whole lot of sense when it comes to boxing and who deserves this award more. Now she starts making it personal. She said, well, Floyd, he likes to do a lot of talking. He likes to do a lot of talking. And I said, oh, you mean like Muhammad Ali, right? Who was called the Louisville Lip. And and then she was like, well, not only just the talking, but he likes to beat on women and so on and so forth. And I told her, I said, well, see, you are making my point. And I'm gonna make a video talking about this domestic violence, because there are some stats that you guys don't know about, but I'm gonna elaborate on that in another video. But what I told her was, you're helping me make my point, which is this was personal. This had something to do with what they personally thought about Floyd Mayweather outside of sports, outside of boxing versus MMA. This was about what they thought about Floyd Mayweather personally. And that right there tells you that this was a biased pick, right? Now, and after that, I really stuck it to her when I surprised her with this information that she wasn't aware of. I said, did you know that they just recently did a study and they found out that in mixed martial arts, there is more domestic violence towards women than all the other sports combined? It's not even close. If you guys didn't watch Real Sports, they did a story on this. The numbers are astounding. It's not even close. There is a lot of domestic violence going on right now in the MMA. And I'm talking about some of the biggest stars in MMA. So, if you guys get a chance, you could probably catch that story or that piece, I'm sure, on YouTube, or check it out on demand on HBO on Real Sports. So anyway, so I'm telling this to this girl, Ronda. Now, once I hit her with those facts, you know what she says then? Oh, there's domestic violence all over the place. So now she's defending domestic violence when the shoe is on the other foot. How unbelievable is that? And this is a woman. This is a woman defending men that have been charged or accused of domestic violence. In other words, beating up on women. So the point that I'm making is, for when it comes to fans that are emotionally attached, these are the type of people that try to find irrelevant excuses to justify their personal disdain towards a fighter that they just don't like. It makes it easier to cope with the fact this guy, he keeps winning. I can't think of any guy that can beat him. I fucking paid to watch this man lose every fight, and he keeps disappointing me by winning. Let me just say, I don't like his personal life. I don't like him because he doesn't go to church, on Sundays. Or, I don't like him because, he doesn't eat pork. And what kind of real American doesn't eat bacon? You know what I'm saying? Making up shit that is completely irrelevant to the sport that we all love. So once again, this lady I talked to, she was trying to make up a reason to justify why she didn't like Floyd Mayweather. But once I pointed at the people that she liked and showed her that her people were doing the same thing, then all of a sudden she tried to defend men that, quote unquote, beat up on women. We know what time it is. I'm on to the next one.